Hey, John. Good morning. Just wanted to go ahead and do an overview on the boat. I know you originally came in, you just wanted the bottom and a transom refinish, and now you're thinking about stripping and refinish the entire boat, which would be a good idea, I think. And so I thought, well, let me just take a look at the whole thing and the whole tamale, and look at what else that you might want to consider. And so we'll go from there. So anyhow, as I look at the boat, the first thing I noticed is it got a nice cover. The next thing I noticed was that that the trailer is covered with stain and varnish, and we can probably clean that up in a day's time. You might want us to do that. Your loading guides, it's kind of cool. You got the lights up here, but the lights are turned to the inside, which when your trailer, you might have just already discovered, when your trailer's down deep in the water, these things can rub against the side of your boat. I would maybe swap the, can I swap the tubes? I would change this around anyway to where the lights are on the outside and can't scratch the side of your boat as you're putting your boat on the trailer. You know, when these things, if your tail lights were to break, then that would certainly occur. And the tail lights are really supposed to be down on the bottom of the trailer. I don't know how legal those are up there. They're handy when you're loading, but I'm not sure how legal those are up there. We build trailers, and I know that all of our charts show the lights being down here on the bottom. So just had some questions about if you wanted to do anything with that. So then I'm actually going to make an observation on the bottom. I haven't done that yet. So in fact, I've not really looked it over yet. It's like, okay, we're going to do a bottom job, and that's all the thought I really gave to it. Your bottom, started to say it appears to be in good shape. Your planks actually do. I mean, your plank seems nice and tight. They actually do appear to be in good shape, but I do see a bunch of epoxy repair down here on the keel. So So here's something to consider. When we start taking this guy apart, we will concentrate on taking the garboard planks off. Those are the planks on either side of the keel. And you might be able, and I want to give you false hopes here, but we might be able to take one or two planks off and do some repairs to the keel and or replacement of the keel, and you not have to spend the money on a whole new bottom. But I can't tell you whether you do or don't until I actually get a chance to, something's going on here. Well, anyways, until I get a chance to actually start taking it apart. Okay, so the question you asked about the sides, going ahead and stripping and refinishing the sides, yes. And one of the things that we do is once this is stripped, then we fair everything, and meaning we sand this all to where if you run your hand over this, you don't feel any lumps. I feel a lump right here at this plank. Perhaps this plank was replaced and was not sanded to be the same thickness as this. The other thing that can be is, which doesn't seem to be the case, is that the fasteners holding this plank have released, and this plank has come out where the fasteners holding this plank to the batten and to the frames have not released, and this plank is still tight against the frames and battens like it should be. I'm kind of voting for this, the way this is, I'm kind of voting for the fact that this plank may have been replaced. It feels, I'm coming up here on top of this plank, and then it's fairly even at the bottom, but anyhow, we take care of all that. It ends up being, the planks end up being fair like they are back here. And the planks are actually, appear to be in really good shape. They're nice and tight, not a lot of space. Pretty good. I've had some first impressions. We've had the cover off before. Oh yeah, another first impression on the cover is they put snaps in your upper plank. Right here. These snaps are in your upper plank. What's called your shear plank. And normally we would put the fasteners on your stainless. We take that screw out, we put a snap right there. We put another snap there. And our snaps would be all a foot apart. We can put them 6 inches apart if we want to, but we wouldn't make all these extra holes down here in your planks. We don't like to see that done. So I'll have this folded back here in a minute. Thought I would take a look at your interior, because I don't remember what kind of condition it was in. Oh yeah, okay. Whether or not it's correct. I can tell you it's been replaced. It's not quite correct. It's not bad. Well, we're kind of, so you might want to consider an interior. I'll put a price in the estimate. There's some damage to the interior. These, the staples, this is called hide 'em, and this is actually just to hide the staples where the seat backs are put on, and these, it's a double welt, and the welds pull apart, and you put a staple down there, and when the welds spring back together, it covers the staples. So your staples are all rusty. When you sit on this or lean against it, it's going to continue to split apart. The vinyl is no longer supple, so that's going to be the other issue. Is the vinyl will once we staple this back, and you sit on it, the vinyl may rip out right along the staple line. So okay. Yeah, there's more, as we look at this, look at the tops here, there's definitely more reason to do a strip and refinish. You have a pyramid floor, period correct, for this 1954. Let's see if I can get this thing flipped over. Chrome. Chrome plating. We're exhibiting some pitting. It's not terrible though. I mean, if you do like 1 or 2 pieces of chrome, then you end up, you'll want what I call leapfrog. You'll have some chrome that's looking great. You'll have some chrome that then all of a sudden it looks terrible because you've got some chrome that looks great. So I'll put a price on the estimate for chrome, but if you're trying to work within a budget, I think this chrome is something that you wouldn't necessarily need to do right now. Okay. Yeah, some interesting amenities. That box is kind of neat, kind of handy. Might have been something that was added by a previous owner. If I'm not mistaken, I believe this was your dad's. So that's kind of cool. Oops. Windshield is plexiglass. It would have originally been plate glass, which is no longer legal, but it could be safety glass. But actually, I had to kind of grab a hold of it to decide that it was plexiglass. So that's not a big issue. And the plexi could be, the plexiglass, if you wanted to, could be replaced. This is looking a little foggy. Okay. This is not correct. There should be a lifting ring here that would actually be used for lifting this off the boat. And the lifting ring, so somebody put a rope chock up here. There should be a lifting ring and a rod that goes down to the keel, fastens to the keel, and then this would be lifted off the trailer with a couple of gantries, for placing in the water, for placing on casters. And this is what your lifting ring looks like. This guy goes all the way and fastens to a couple of stringers. Your stringers being the engine stringers that the engine's mounted to. Let's see. Your engine box has some damage to the veneer on the wood. That could be re-veneered, and or the wood replaced. Actually, the wood's been replaced over the years, and that's not a ribbon stripe mahogany veneer that would have been on this originally. And we can replace that with a ribbon stripe mahogany if you would like. I will do a price for that as well. The steering column beauty tube that you see that's white is most typically black. Nothing wrong with white. We can leave it white. That's not a big deal. Steering wheel's cracked. We typically restore these with no more damage than this has. We restore them in-house. Your horn button could be replaced. We make new horn parts, including horn button. That could be re-chromed to look as good as the rest of the chrome that's on the boat. You've got one Chris-Craft gauge. That's your tachometer, and the other gauges, I believe, have been added over the years, just some Stuart Warner gauges, and everything else looks pretty good. I mean, that's so I've got some suggestions. It depends on how far you want to go with this, how perfect you want to make this, how much patina you'd like to leave, how much of the signature of the previous owner you'd like to leave. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and prepare your estimate, and like I said, that we really need to we'll carefully take this apart. There we may be able to avoid an entire bottom. You may not wish to avoid an entire bottom, and I understand that. I think we actually had that conversation earlier. You're missing your stern. You have a stern flagpole, but you're missing your stern light. And your socket for your stern light does not appear to be a electric wired socket. So let me get this little screw out of here. That's what I'm trying to get out of here. Yeah. So the socket would be wrong. It should, on another Sportsman, that's Cavalier. Hang on a second. Got a couple other Sportsmen here. And I can show you on the other Sportsman also what the lifting ring should look like instead of that rope chock you've got in the front. So here's a nice Sportsman that we've got in for strip and refinish and bottom work and so forth. So hopefully you can see down in there, there's actually an electrical connection right there in the center, and then it grounds from the outside, and on the case here is the ground. Then you have your hot connection down there inside, and then this runs your stern pole with a stern light on it. And here's a good example of what you should have where you have that rope chock. That's your lift. That's the lifting eye that you should have. And here's another one. Matter of fact, this might be the same year. I don't remember off the top of my head if it's a 54 or 55. But there's what you should have for your lifting ring. Okay, we'll see from there what you want to do. I'll show you some finished varnish. That's you see the reflection of the purlins in the roof, and that's what your finished product should look like.